Hey, Unlock Church crew, welcome. Good Sunday to you. If you're checking this out midweek, we're gonna come right back. We're finishing the race video right here in the studio. We'll be back probably 4 or 5 minutes, so you can fast forward. If you're here and it's Sunday morning, we'll be back. You get to see some upcoming events here for the community here at Unlock Church. It's gonna be a great Sunday. We're amped. They're ignoring you. They didn't even say hi or wave to you. That's because they're in the chat. Oh. Anyways, we'll be right back. See you in a few minutes. Enjoy the upcoming events. Everybody, welcome to Unlock Church this morning. My name is Scott Mendenhall. I'm not alone. As you can see, we're packed in this place today. We got the racers. If you just watched the race in the snow, oh my gosh, what an epic day it was. I'm not lying, okay? It was so much fun.
It was. It actually was fun. It was.
If you didn't know, this is Lily.
My name's Lily. Hello.
It was fun or painful?
It was fun. It was fun to be in something that was like, how is this gonna end? And we all made do.
You did? I feel like you all made struggles.
There was a struggle, it was. But when I said it felt like Survivor, it kind of did like...
What did you mean by that?
Meaning like you have to figure this out. Like one way or another, you have to figure out how to continue.
Joey and Kristen, did you think it felt like Survivor?
No.
No. And
Absolutely
when Lily
not.
says it was fun, I don't think it was
I also
that
don't think it
fun
was that
either
fun.
because losing is
Lily
always
had fun because she was
Lily-
able to use Scott's one wheel, so she was able to ride in the snow. But
She's
I was
coming
running,
at her.
Joey was was struggling.
I just thought of my resources here. Anyone could have done it.
But that's
Anyone could have.
We've all been in that situation before
But
where if Scott allowed it, you ask for grace, you ask for help, and Scott allows it, great, let's go. If not, oh well.
But this is where I think we have a skewed thing on all these races. Like, oh, Scott said we could run up the hill. No, those are the race rules. I'm racing with you. You're saying that, like, you know, we asked Scott for great.
No,
I'm a racer.
Nothing was ever said about can I use your one wheel, like can I, so I just went for it.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that could have happened is you would have said no.
No, I definitely would have lost some fans on that one because that's not what love would require you to do. I did like Zach's comment over there. He's like, ooh, to lap him with that, is that what love requires? Probably not, but there is a fine line in those races between what makes great videos and what does love require. And so I try to kind of teeter right between the both of them. Kristen gave me a look. What's that for, Kristen?
You didn't put a lot of things in the video.
Like
what?
what?
Like what?
Like the fact that you walked a lot when you were using Lily's one wheel.
There is no proof of me walking. There's
proof. We'll put out a video this week.
Oh yeah, they will.
Because I have all the footage too. So.
They're trying to.
Threads.
Oh yeah. We'll see if they get to say.
Did
those
I get
things.
second?
No, Joey.
Joey's been asking
hold
all
on.
week
Yeah.
long.
We
what
filmed that on
actually ended the
Tuesday,
race?
and he's going, did I get second?
All week long, he's been asking what were the actual placements? Because I'm pretty sure we all
No,
cheated, so I want to know.
the truth-
like
Out
it
of the
really
two-
matters.
Out of the two
like
girls,
it really matters.
I didn't cheat as much as them.
As much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
only
didn't
took-
walk as much.
You know,
Here's the thing.
just a little
if none
bit.
of us
I had-
cheated, I would have been stuck at the beginning
You don't
for the
know that.
entire race. Joey,
You don't know that till you try.
I was slipping off my one
So
wheel. I
stop.
had to hold
No, this girl.
on to get on.
Yeah.
You could have done it.
Should we redo
Okay,
the
no,
race?
we're gonna put out a video this week to kind of walk through how riding in the snow can be done, because it is possible. Yes, I walked the one wheel, but I did ride much further than the most of you on the slick.
He's continuing to say that. We'll just.
There
let him.
are some things that they were not doing that would get you down the road.
Like riding backwards, like Dylan said.
I don't know if that
That
works,
could
but
potentially be helpful.
getting the snow off your foot pad would be one of the first
I
things to
tried
do.
so
That.
hard.
No.
Yeah.
I
It
did
was
that.
packed
More
on
snow
there.
I had on my
I
foot
tried to
I
pad.
No.
wipe off the
The
snow
better-
on my foot pad.
Okay.
I mean, I think we all had
wiped
the
it.
ideas, but the execution.
And
was
to
not.
wrap up, because we got to move on today, I hope that we have first-time guests here today. We got a great topic today. We're talking about guardrails. It's one of those topics we've talked about many years ago, and we're going to revisit it today. If you're like, what is this topic? It's going to be a fun one today. We got videos and live music, so hang around with us. Jump into the live chat. Talk to somebody you don't know. I would love to hear what your weather is like. Here in Minnesota, it's snowing again. Bring on the white stuff. A little disappointed that they took it down from 4 inches to 2 inches of snow. I love that stuff. But to answer Joey's question, and this one's gonna sting a little bit, who won? Everyone knows that there were 3 people out of the 4 that cheated, and I am not one of those. So
you were
everyone
in
else
a-
got disqualified, and
You
I
were in-
won!
You were in a race alone, essentially.
It was me versus the
You were on a
elements.
joyride that day.
Man versus nature right there. That's what you saw there. Okay.
There's no race.
It was hilarious. Thank you for everyone. This week's race is going to be pretty fun. We're going to put a fake foxtail, okay, just a fake one, just to clarify, on the back of one rider. They get a 1 minute to 2 minute head start, and if the team catches the person, or one person catches the person with the foxtail on,
How are we going to
wins.
decide who wears the foxtail?
We'll decide, and it'll be in the video next week. Okay, let's get on today. We're gonna put a phone number up on the screen. We'd love you to text pictures of yourself if you're at a viewing party. If you don't know what that means, we got people all across the world, primarily in Minnesota, doing viewing parties, but if you're in Florida, you're in Montana, Colorado, wherever you're watching today, you can do a viewing party, inviting people over to watch the race video, and then this. Every week it happens, and we would love to see where you're at.
Yes, and we would love to put it up on the screen, so text a picture, and we will go over the pictures in a little bit and have some fun with
Send
you.
them in. The phone number is right there. I know it feels like televangelistic kind of deal. If you don't even know what that is, that's cool. You don't need to worry about that. But it's just so we get to see who's out there, and maybe your weather or what you're eating.
Or drinking coffee. Ooh.
Yeah, drinking coffee, sure.
Yum.
Any of those things, we'd love to hear from you guys. See ya. So, text that number. Anything else, Joey and Kristen?
That's a no. We're like, no,
Hey,
nothing.
We're gonna win the race next week.
Yeah, yes
That's all
you
I
are.
have to say. I'm getting a trident tire.
I think Scott needs to wear the foxtail. And
Foxtail.
Do
I'm
you?
gonna get it
Why don't
first.
you want to
all
wear
need
it, Joey?
We all need to strategize
because
together.
can
Only
you
one
win?
winner.
How do you win if you have the?
I'll tell you this. It'll be one winner, $100 on the line.
For a treaded tire.
And if you can't,
That's how much they
if you
cost.
don't catch the person gets the $100.
Love it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We're moving on. We got so much more going on. Hey, we always talk about we're trying to form a community of people. That's why we're talking about viewing parties and stuff. Don't do life alone. It's not fun. That race would have really been a bummer if it was just me out there running around. There'd be you wouldn't be watching it. But what makes it fun is that we do life together. You're laughing at all the 4 different personalities, and we talk about all of our personalities. One day we should share who we are, what we think we are in the storyline of all races. But we'll do that later. But we do a community. It's a community that you love. For those that have jumped in across the world every Sunday in these chat rooms and stuff, you love it because of the community. But maybe some of you out there, you're doing life alone still. So we've got like a 45-second video to encourage you to jump in. All right. So check out this video. We'll be right back. Here we got a little technical problems. Here we go.
Ever tried seesawing by yourself? That's got to be some like real like.
I don't think it's called seesawing anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, if
you're by yourself,
it's only like either seeing or sawing. Which one would you be doing?
Yeah, you would just be seeing.
Because if it's 2 of us, I see, you saw.
Yeah.
See, saw, see, saw.
Is that
Why
what
do you
it
think it's
means?
called that?
Because I see, you saw. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Whew, that was deep. Woo, real deep.
We can talk about it later in
Okay.
the meeting.
Yeah, we'll have to cover that topic later. But here's the deal. That's a cool reminder of don't do life alone wherever you are. Maybe you should invite a friend to jump in the chat room that you know if you don't know somebody, or introduce yourself in the chat room today, the live chat that's going on. Don't do life alone. Life tends to be scarier, more negative, and less fun doing life by yourself. And some of you are like, but I'm insecure, or I'm really quiet and shy. I don't want to do life I don't know how to. It just takes one initiation of let's go. You're seeing on this shot, we're not alone. We've got somebody else in the room. They've heard. Every week we talk about breakfast on Sunday.
Yes.
Dan and Jen and his family
Guys.
always posting pictures
love
of
it.
bacon.
So
I can smell it, so I don't know.
Oh,
Chris,
yeah.
what you got for us today,
Oh yeah,
man?
well I couldn't resist, so I had to bring in you
Oh.
guys.
Bacon!
to inspire me.
Oh, my
It has
mouth
been
just started watering.
so hard to
Oh,
resist
so
this
good.
smell.
Oh,
It is
so good.
amazing. Oh yeah.
You brought
But you
that
know
in
what?
from your
But
house?
you know what? As much as I would like to keep this for myself, I'm not. This is for you guys. Always working so hard in the studio.
Let's, Joey, let's hear it.
Out there,
Joey,
grab
let's
it.
hear it.
Let's go, baby!
Grab it. So anyway, I just wanted again. This is my way of saying thank you guys.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
That's some good
Keep
bacon.
up the stuff. Yeah.
Some. Oh
There's
man,
nothing better than bacon.
Oh my gosh. Yum.
That's
It's
so
like
good.
melt in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
Like,
How do you like your bacon? Like crispy?
I was once told by Jeff that bacon is done when it's like a diving board.
Oh yeah, like
Like this.
Like a diving
So
board.
like
this
a
is
diving.
yeah.
perfect.
What's that mean?
Like you
That is
gotta
not
be-
like a diving board.
What? I
Yeah,
don't even get
that
that
is.
analogy. What is a diving board?
Like it's
like,
this.
like ringy?
Straight
Like
out.
this.
No, it sticks straight out.
But if you jump on it, does it bend or does it like
Yeah, so like,
fracture and
yeah,
break?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Jeff, jump in the comments and tell us. I'm just repeating what Jeff said.
Slightly
I mean,
springy?
if you don't like bacon, I just don't even understand.
Yeah, I don't know how you can.
I'll take bacon anyway.
Have you-
Anyway,
hold on.
any day, anytime.
Write in the comments the weirdest way you've ever eaten bacon. Like, I think the weirdest is bacon and ice cream.
A donut, maybe, yeah.
So,
Bacon and ice cream.
bacon and ice cream, I've heard.
How many is appropriate to eat right now?
Well, we got a whole
Well,
plate here.
the plate is for you.
Because I'm going for my third piece right here.
Yep.
As good as that smells, I got a question.
Yeah.
Would you mind giving me a couple of pieces?
Oh, he hasn't gotten it. That's so sad.
We're hoarders over on this side
I
of
was
this
like ready
video.
to finish the plate.
Like, yeah, I mean, you gave it.
I thought you were just like giving it to us. I didn't realize you'd want any back.
I'll
That's
wait
easy. That's
patiently.
easy, Chris, because you gave it to us. It's really mean,
That's right.
It should be
Yours.
easy to give it back.
Right,
Yeah,
it
it's
should
yours.
be easy to give away, right?
yeah, not hard.
See, here's the trick for you guys. I'm throwing you guys a little bit of an analogy today, right? So if I brought this bacon in, and because I made it, it's my bacon, right? I could sit here all day and I could eat this bacon. I'm not gonna eat it now because I'd be fumbling over my words and I'd be drooling all over the place. So I'm gonna sit back and put this down. But here's the deal. There's a fundamental connection. Oh, I see what you're doing
Well,
there.
I mean, it's just
All
gonna
right.
sit there.
Yeah. So see, there's a fundamental spiritual connection with how you think about and you handle your money. So this is my money. This is your analogy. I got you guys out there. Hopefully you have a little fun with this analogy here a little bit. But when we think about when something is given to us, it's easier to kind of turn it back and give some away, right? Because it wasn't ours to begin with. And so it was given to us. We have an opportunity to do what we want with it, right? So we're now the managers of the bacon. But it's easy to give away when we've mentally thought about it and we've thought that, well, it's not mine. I didn't have any bacon this morning when I woke up. I didn't make the bacon. And now that I've got the bacon, I can give some away. When we think about that with your spiritual lives and how that's connected with your own finances, with your own money. When you think about being able to, that it's not ours, it's God's, and God's giving it to us, and we are just simply stewards. That's like a biblical term, but we're managers. We're just managing His money, His blessings, His giving to us, and we're now the managers of it. We get to do with what we want with it, right? But God also tells us that what He's asking for us is to give back to Him, help honor Him, help bless Him, and bless what He's trying to accomplish on earth. And we get to do that, right? We're the carriers, we're the embodiment of Jesus here. And so what we're getting at here is this opportunity to give back. And we want to give you a moment to do that today too. So we try to make it as easy as you can here at Unlock. Again, our hopes and mission is just to spread the gospel. We want to connect with you, form a community, and help you unlock your God-given potential. So today, you can do that today. You can text Unlock to 77977. A few easy clicks on your phone and you can give, or you can go to unlockchurch.com and you can give that way. But as for now, before I can eat my bacon, I want to pray for you all, and then I'm going to enjoy my bacon on the sidelines. So with that, let's go for it. God, thank you for today. What a wonderful opportunity it is to be here in the studio with this wonderful crew who always just brings the joy and the laughter and the energy that we so desperately need throughout our week. And God, this is just a catalyst, just a jump start for us as we look ahead to what the week has in store for us. Jesus, bless Unlock Church. Continue to be with all of us. Continue to be with everybody who's in and watching this video right now, whether it's live or whether it's at some point in the future. God, I just want to ask you to put your hand on their shoulders, give them the nudge to move in a slightly different direction than they were headed already, and in a way that honors you and is a bit more like you. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Chris, thank you for the bacon.
Yes, so good. Thank you for sharing.
Good analogy.
It is my pleasure.
Dan, that's inspired from you. Jeff, thanks for jumping in the chat room and making sure we were saying that right. And then it's been really fun to read through the chat as everybody's saying
how they like to cook bacon.
Dan,
and the best one, there's no
that's
bad
what Dan
way to
said.
eat
Dan
bacon.
said
Thank
it.
you, Dan.
Dan
I
goes,
agree.
there's no wrong way.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Have you had it in ice cream? I'm not. It
A
just
lot
sounds.
of people have. I was reading the chat.
I
A lot of
don't
people have
like
eaten it.
Bacon
I don't
and
like
ice
the bacon with like the maple donuts. It makes me want to puke.
Yeah, that doesn't.
That's good.
I think
That's
it's
so
tasty.
gross.
So
Okay,
good.
since she brings up the maple syrup deal, we did this week in the office.
We did.
Just a little bit of a Minnesotan vibe to your coffee. Don't put creamer in it, just put maple syrup in your coffee.
Just like
Oh.
a
And
teaspoon of
think
maple
of
good.
syrup.
us
So
when you
good.
do that,
I've had
all right?
that
That's the
before.
Minnesota
Second.
coffee for you.
Yum.
Just try it. You won't be disappointed,
that winter
okay?
is here.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very good. It was subtle, and like I drink my coffee black, so I don't like it too sweet. But it added just this like I wish I was drinking it in my hammock in a forest.
Here's the deal. If you're a guy drinking coffee, you put maple syrup in there, you'll do feel like I need a beard while I drink this. 'cause
Yeah.
and put a flannel on.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, there you go. That's our analogy.
We're so on
Now,
the same wavelength here.
you're picturing it. Minnesota coffee right there. That just came to. Thank you, Kristen, for the idea. For the rest of you, we're gonna throw to a great video that sets up in a second what we're gonna do with live music in here, and so we'll talk about that here in a second. But check out the vibes from this video. I think it'll get your brains thinking in a different way because our hopes always always on Sundays, is to get you to answer this question. What is Jesus saying to you today, and what are you going to do about it? That's our hopes today, is to connect you with Jesus, even if this is your first time ever hearing that name, or you've known Jesus since you were a wee little lad or a wee little gal. We're hoping today Jesus speaks to you. So check out this video, and the live music will start right after that. Enjoy.
What shall we say about such wonderful things as these? If God is for us, who can ever be against us? Since he did not even spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, won't he also give us everything else? Who dare accuse us from whom God has chosen for his own? No one, for God himself has given us right standing with himself. Who then will condemn us? No one, for Christ Jesus died for us and was raised to life for us, and he is sitting in a place of honor at God's right hand, pleading for us. And I am convinced that nothing can ever separate us from God's love. Neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither our fears for today nor our worries about tomorrow. Not even the powers of hell can separate us from God's love. No power in the sky above or in the earth below. Indeed, nothing in all creation will ever be able to separate us from the love of God that is revealed in Christ Jesus our Lord. God is for us, and this changes everything.
Okay, we are ready for some live music. This means you need to turn up your device. That could be your phone, your iPad, your TV, so that you would maybe want to sing along, hum along. Come on, if Joey can sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the middle of a race, you can sing as well, okay? So we're inviting you to sing, and here's the idea over the next few moments as the band tunes their instruments and get ready to play, is that in worship, when we take a moment and we sing songs that will tell truths about God, it will express our love back to him. Maybe you've never done this before, but you've been a follower of Jesus forever. I invite you today to sing for the first time ever. Trust me, I would never ask you to do something that would harm you. I would only invite you in something that would make your life better and make you better at life. So, turn up your device. The lyrics will be down below on the screen as they sing. And my hopes is as this happens, you can just feel a peace that goes from your head to your toes, and you'll understand why it's so awesome to be able to sing songs that are about the truth about God's love for this world. So, if you're somewhere where people are around, and forget about them for 1 second and think about the words that you are singing. Let's get to it.
People come together, strangers, neighbors, our blood is the one. Children of generations, of every nation, a kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where your help comes from. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, wherever you're at, sing it out. Sing Jesus. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in his blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, his kingdom come. So don't up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where your help comes from. Whoa, 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 Swing wide, all you heavens. Let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sounds. All his children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Let's sing that one more time. Swing wide. Swing wide, all you heavens. Let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sounds. All his children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in his blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, his kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where your help comes from.
Blessed is the man who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers. But the man who delights in the law of the Lord and meditates on his law day and night, he is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yield its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever he does prospers.
Oh man, great job, band. I hope you turned up your devices and did exactly what we were asking you to do, getting rowdy about it wherever you were. Thank you all our first-time guests that are in the chat room today. We love hearing from you guys. We love the talk about bacon. It's just fun. That's some of those things about community, is that you can jump in there and share ideas and thoughts about heaps of different things. So thank you for engaging in the chat room. It makes it so much fun. Today we are going to kick off a brand new topic, which is guardrails. It's one of my favorite topics that we do around here. It was about 3 years ago we did this, and it was a game changer for so many. And this week I've had so many conversations about guardrails that I knew it was time to do it again. So this is a refresher for some. It's gonna be brand new to others, but it's one of those things that are so important to live out. But before we get to that, I wanna just say, I say hello to a few people in the chat room. I see John Norberg is in the chat room today. What's happening? John, good to see your name. Kara Adams? Love to see your name popping up there. Man, there's so many good people. Amy Beal, good to have you in the house. Giving a comment to Ryan. I don't see... He must be in there somewhere. It's hard to keep up with the chat. Sometimes everybody's like, oh, it moves too quickly. But it's so much fun to be able to drop comments in there. And as we get to today's topic, my hope is that it would be something that would be a game changer for your life. I'm going to give you some stories about my own personal life, and I'm going to do other things as we fix a cable here for your viewing pleasures at home. I can see a lot of people around here pointing, move a cable. I moved it. If you're like, why'd you get so close? Was not dramatic effect. It was just helping out our production team around here. That said, if you think that it's a small little crew around here getting this done, you're probably correct, but it is an army to get this done, and they do such a great job. Everyone has multiple roles here, from jumping from onto cameras to computers. It's just as a great team getting it done, spreading the gospel the best we can. Remember the question we set up a little bit ago. What is Jesus saying to you? What are you going to do about it? I always think about questions because questions help inform me to make better decisions. You ever think about that? To make great decisions in life, you need to have the knowledge of the right questions. The right questions lead you to make the right decisions, which next week we're going to talk about guardrails and making decisions. So if you have big decisions looming, maybe it's how are you going to vote? Some of you are like, no, I know how I'm going to vote, and everyone should vote like me. Calm down, ease up, it's okay. It's all right. We're going to talk about decision making and how you can ask the right questions to make the right decisions. So it's going to be a fun week next week. But today's a bit of a setup into the topic of guardrails. In my notes, I said guardrails are designed to keep vehicles from straying into dangerous or off-limit areas. They minimize damage by keeping us in the safety zone. Okay, that's the working definition we're going to use today, are guardrails. If you live in the United States, I can't really speak of all countries. I've been to quite a bit of them, but not all countries have guardrails. But here in the United States, if you're going to go to a dangerous part on the road, there is guardrails that start before the actual danger. Think about if you've ever drove out in the mountains or something, you get guardrails before the turn goes to 90 degrees because it's like a warning sign for you, hey, there's danger up ahead. We're going to start it early so you're kind of aware of there's a guardrail, and it's not just there for looks. There is a purpose for guardrails. It's to protect yourself in the future, miles ahead, that you don't go off the cliff. Guardrails, reading it one more time so we all have the working, are designed to keep vehicles from straying into dangerous or off-limit areas. They minimize damage by keeping us in the safety zone. There are 3 areas in the United States that you will primarily see these guardrails. It's bridges, medians, and curves, right? Everyone, you've got something in your mind. You're like, I know where that is in my area. 3 areas in your life. Well, we're going to use this principle of guardrails in our own lives. That there are areas in our lives that we need to have guardrails. Guardrails direct and protect when it comes to personal things, okay? The physical ones, they prevent danger up ahead, but when we make personal guardrails in our lives, they direct and they protect. They let you know what direction to go, and then they protect your future relationships and future you. But the question is, where do we place the guardrails? How do we place the guardrails? And what's the purpose of guardrails in our personal lives when it comes to relationships, finances, and a couple other areas that we'll list? And so our host today is to not tell you what it looks like for you to have a guardrail. This is where it's going to be very unique today. This is where I hope Jesus reaches through your device and says, this is an area you need to have a guardrail in. This is where you need to make a difference. That's my hopes today, that each one of us today are going to have different guardrails that we're going to begin to implement in our life. And here's what happens oftentimes, and this is human nature, is that when we get new guardrails, what we tend to do is think everyone else needs these guardrails. And that's way wrong. That's not how it's done. When we get personal guardrails, those are for you. It doesn't mean everyone else needs to have those guardrails. Now, I know some of you go, but hold on. What about Jesus principles and stuff? We're not talking about Jesus principles per se right here. We are trying to say a guardrail will keep us going in the direction of the Jesus principles. So that means sometimes the setup for other people to avoid a crash in a mega failure in their own life, they need to have a certain guardrail here. Case in point, this is so obvious to so many of us, it's not hard to understand this principle. If there are people that struggle with alcohol, then their guardrail would be, okay, I'm not going to step foot into a bar, if I even go to a bar that says I am going into the danger zone now, I have surpassed my guardrail, my man-made, my own guardrail that I felt God say, hey, just don't even go down the aisle of the alcohol in a Walmart or in a wherever you can buy out, don't go there. And if you find yourself in the aisle or the bar, you know it's a trigger to you going, uh-oh, danger up ahead, I need to turn around. For some of us, that's not a danger zone for you, so the guardrail for you is not going down an aisle filled with alcohol or bars. It's different. See what I mean? It's different for every one of us because the things that Jesus speaks to us on are different for every one of us. And so today, I say all of that to set you up in a way that you would position yourself to hear from Jesus today on what is he saying. And a lot of us already know. A lot of us already know where the danger zones in our lives are. And every time I say danger zone, can you put in the chat what movie I think of? Just come on, seriously, danger zone. Where do you go? What are you thinking about when I say danger zone? There's a movie that comes right to my mind. I don't have the chat pulled up to know if you're nailing it. I feel like I want to pull up the chat, but I cannot. But somebody should have done it by now. It is Top Gun. Danger zone, hello, right? It's so good. I think we did we put it on the screen? Brian's pointing to the screen or something? No, I thought we were putting it up there. Chris got it, thank you. Okay. Guardrails direct and protect. The idea of having your own guardrails are to prevent you from experiencing the worst case scenario. Going back to cars, worst case scenario when you're in the mountains and it makes a 90-degree turn, if you drove straight off, worst case scenario is it looks like a Hollywood movie, but you're not a stunt man or woman. It's real life stuff happening. You're rolling down a hill and there's potential issues that come from that. So we want you to prevent yourself from experiencing worst case scenario. Okay, you think about this. You know that. You know about the danger zones and you've learned this. Your greatest regrets when you look back could have been avoided if you had guardrails to tell you that you were in the danger zone or the danger was up ahead. Think about if you had the right guardrails put up when it came to you in high school as a dating person, and you had guardrails about if I'm around a person that doesn't love Jesus and I'm thinking about dating them, that's no fly zone. I'm not going. No fly zone, see what I did there? Danger zone to Top Gun. Following along? Okay, anyways, I'm bummed that the movie didn't come out, okay? Nonetheless, Goose, hang with us here. Okay, poor guy lost his life. Okay, let's go on. I'm going down, okay? I'm just going, oh no, another reference. Goose went down. Okay, some of you are not tracking. Just go watch Top Gun. You would have got all the references and you'd be like, okay, I get it now. Okay, Top Gun school back in session. Let's pick up where I was just talking about when you look into the past, which it's healthy to look back for a small amount of time, but not to dwell on, okay? Look back, learn from your past. Look at your dating self as a teenager. If you would have had a guardrail that says, I am not going to date this kind of person, and you adhered to it, you probably wouldn't have some of the scenarios that gone in your life. Now, some of you are like, but hold on, I didn't know Jesus then, so that wouldn't have been a guardrail. Okay, if you're not a follower of Jesus and you're still hanging with us, thank you for doing that. Maybe you have a set of standards that you don't want to cross, or you don't want to behave like, or you don't want to think like, and you're looking at a group of friends that, oh man, that group of friends, they're super negative. I don't want to be negative. And your guardrail becomes, okay, I'm going to spend more time with positive people than negative people. And your guardrail is, if I find myself thinking negative thoughts, I'm going to look at my life and go, who's feeding me? Who am I impressed by? What influences me? As a former youth pastor for 17 years, we would often talk about where Paul says, bad company corrupts good character. He says that in an idea that going, hey, listen, if you don't put guardrails in relationships, you're going to find yourself, even if you have a good vibe about you and you're around negative people that are always dwelling on the negative, the worst case scenario, guess what? Most likely you're going to Velcro yourself to those things, and it might be a guardrail for you to go, okay, when conversations come up about things that are negative or worst case scenario, I'm just going to step out of I'm going to move because I know that doesn't help me. It puts me in a bad mood. It makes me afraid of the future. I get concerned. I lose perspective of, if you're a follower of Jesus, I lose the perspective of Jesus still has the world in his hands. And so when negative conversations come up, when they start talking about this, I'm going to kindly just excuse myself. and walk away. Somebody reminded me of this story the other day. I was talking to somebody and they go, Scott, one time I've seen you mad. And I was like, what? I never am. No, I was like, only one? What is wrong? I'm like, okay, you don't hang around. No, they just said, one time I saw you upset. And I was like, okay, tell me the story, because I didn't really remember it. And they told the story as this. We were up in Canada, and we were sitting around a fire, and a conversation was happening that was just not an appropriate conversation. Guys were talking about women in an inappropriate way, about somebody that was a toll booth worker. And I just remember sitting there going, man, that's somebody's daughter. I was getting upset on the inside. I really, really was. And I just like, okay, I don't want to hear this stuff. I don't want to picture this woman in my mind. I got up and walked away, because I didn't want the influence of that conversation to penetrate my heart and change the way I look at women. I don't want to be that person. And so I have long ago put a guardrail in my life that I will not speak of women the way the gentleman was speaking about women. And I just removed myself. I didn't come at the guy and say, you're a horrible person. I can't believe, I might have said something along that's somebody's daughter, bro. Just to put a perspective in it really quick, that anybody that has a daughter, it's like, oh yeah, right. That's somebody's, yeah. I just walked away, adhering to the guardrails in my life to keep myself from being in the danger zone of thinking thoughts that I shouldn't think. Okay, so those are illustrations and hopefully a setup and get you to think about what areas in your life do you need guardrails in. I don't know. If you haven't come up with one yet, just hang tight. Hopefully today we want to provide a moment where you can begin to think about your guardrails. That's the whole point of today. Guardrails are a standard. Now, this is where we're shifting now from the driving class version of guardrails to the personal. Guardrails are a standard of behavior that becomes a matter of conscience. Reading it one more time. Guardrails are a standard of behavior that becomes a matter of conscience. Now, I'm going to list for you areas for you to think about what are your guardrails. And if you answer, I don't have any, that should be a warning sign to you, like red lights need to be going off. I don't have any there. You need to get some. Your dating life, if you're single. What are your guardrails? What are your guardrails when it comes to dating? Because if you don't have any, you're just going to go, hey, that person breathes. Good to go. And you're not going to actually go through the thoughts of like, okay, just because they breathe doesn't mean that they're going to be good for me. And anyone that's married would look back or look at somebody that's dating now and go, hold on, you don't have guardrails. They wouldn't call it guardrails. They'd say standards. You haven't thought about who you want to be. We would look at that as ludicrous. Why? Because we've gone through the experience and learned through. If you don't have those set up for yourself, you're going to be in the danger zone. Every time I say danger zone, I want somebody to type it in the chat today. Danger zone. Because I want to prevent you. I want to help provide an avoidance of the danger zone. You don't have to do life there. When we live life in the danger zone, we live a chaotic and unpeaceful life when we're in the danger zone. That's not where we're designed to live. We're not designed to do life there. We're designed to avoid it, make the turn. So your dating life, what's the guardrail? Your marriage, what's your guardrail? Like, I've been married to the same woman for almost 20 years, and I have loved every minute of it. I'm not saying that because I've got some title as pastor. None of that is I genuinely, even if I was not a pastor, I would tell you I have loved being married to my wife for almost 20 years. Have we had some ups and downs? Absolutely. It's called life, okay? We've had stressful moments. We've had moments where we would cry. She would cry and I would pat her on the back. We would have moments where we would be laughing together. Sometimes she would laugh at me and I would be like, well, I didn't say anything funny yet. She's laughing at me. I've had times where I laugh at her and she's like, I didn't do anything funny. And I'm like, you're just a funny girl, and she doesn't find that as funny. Well, we've had all the things that you have in your marriage. We've walked through them. It's 20 years. We've almost been married longer than we were single. Think about that one, okay? Now, I give you the background to that story, or to our story, because I want you to understand when I say guardrails, I believe, and Holly would say this as well, the way we've made it 20 years and have loved it Like, we don't look at marriage as, oh, my wife is my old ball and chain, like I'm just dragging her along in life. No, we are going after it together. We are linked arm in arm. We are a team. We will conquer. It's just we'll conquer anything together. First, Jesus is at the middle of this thing, of our marriage and our relationship, and then we just love each other. But we have guardrails that have gotten us here. Well, a lot of you know one of the guardrails that we use is that we won't go out with someone of the opposite sex by ourselves. Some of you are like, well, that's a no-brainer. Right, but if you don't have it as a guardrail, when presented with the opportunity, somebody at work going, hey, and it's a female or a male, opposite of you, and go, hey, let's go get coffee and talk about today's meeting, I would not do that. I would not go to a place where it would put me in a situation where there's no accountability, or somebody could say, he said this, or did you see those two out? It does make life complicated at times, as we are a staff of females and males, and we gotta sometimes make schedule, okay, who's in the office by ourselves? And you're like, why would you? Because guardrails, I wanna preserve my marriage, and I wanna preserve my ministry, my job. I wanna preserve the relationships that we have as people, and it makes everyone relax. It's just like we understand what people's positions. I'm eliminating a future temptation by having a guardrail. See, eliminating a future temptation where we often just think about the temptation I have now. When you're in it, you're in the danger zone and you've missed the guardrail. The guardrail will set you up from avoiding that and be able to just safely go around the 90-degree corner. And so it complicates sometimes. It does, I'll just be honest. Now, there are sometimes where we've tried everything and we've got video shoots where we've got to travel or so, and we've just come up with a standard procedure when those moments come up. Guardrails that protect, that nothing could happen unless you broke down the guardrails. At times when it's just me and Lily or Kristen and we got to drive somewhere, we make sure that both of our phones can be tracked. And somebody's like, why do you have to do that? You're an adult. We don't have to do that. We do that to preserve the relationships that we have right now. Some of you would want to push back on this and go, well, I don't want to do that in my job or I'm not telling, this is my guardrail that has allowed my family and I to get to where we are today, but I would strongly suggest that you look at something in your marriage and relationships. What are the guardrails that you're going to adhere? There will be warning signs when you overcome them and end up headed toward the danger zone that somebody would go, whoa, we're headed for problems here because we overstepped the guardrail, the trigger of conscience. Remember what our definition, a standard of behavior that becomes a matter of conscience. That I've not done wrong, I don't feel guilty. Now hear me, it's a matter of conscience, that it's warning, it's red lights, beep, 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 beep. You're talking about people the way you said you wouldn't talk, that's gonna lead you to gossip. I don't wanna gossip anymore, so anytime I talk negative about a person, I'm headed towards gossiping. That's the matter of conscience. You haven't done something wrong, you're just setting yourself up in a spiritual part of life to say, when I overstep this, I'm headed towards the danger zone. I hope you're still typing that into the chat, because I am just trying to get it tattooed to your brain that you would look in your life. If you're single, your dating life, where are the danger zones? Marriage, where are the danger zones for your marriage? What are the guardrails to prevent you from their money? Oh, I almost lost my iPad there, but I caught it. Money, how about money in your life? What's the guardrails for you? And this is gonna be different for everybody. If we drop below $2,000 in the bank account, we're in trouble. $20,000, whatever it is, if we live check to check, what is it? If we're not generous, if we don't give away 20%, 30% of our resources, if we're not being it's a guardrail for us that we're not doing our resources correctly. If we stop tithing, it's a guardrail saying, oh, we're in the wrong, we've done something what we don't want to do. And so these are for you to be able to think about. How about friendships? We alluded to this earlier. There needs to be guardrails inside friendships. There are people that you should spend heaps of time with because they encourage you, inspire you. They tell you can take the hill. They point you to Jesus every time on every topic. Even if it's not a Jesus topic, they constantly go, what does Jesus have to say about buying a new car? Well, nothing. When I look up in the Bible, it doesn't actually talk about that. Okay, but you want to be around those people that ask you Jesus questions. Spend more time with them and less time with people that detour you from pursuing Jesus. What's the guardrails? What's the trigger for you to go, okay, I've spent too much time with people that are not like-minded or pushing me towards my dreams. I know for me, that's a big one for me. I want to surround myself with people that are better leaders than me. I want to surround myself with people that are bigger dreamers than me. I want to surround myself with people that are better in every aspect of my life that I want to get better in, because in order for me to get better, I got to be around better people. If not, what happens is we tend to do life with the crab scenario, okay? A crab, I don't know, I'm sure there's a really good title of this, but here's the deal. When I moved to Florida, I was pretty amped being a Midwestern boy to live down in Florida, right on a beach every day, running by the surf. It was magical. It really was. Running down there going, this is the best ever. And then there were crabs that would always run along the beach. When Legend got old enough, like 1 or 2, we would go down to the beach and we would collect crabs. And we'd throw them in a bucket, and then we'd chase these crabs all over the beach, and we would come back and put them in the bucket. But what happened when we put one in the bucket, and we're talking about, we're talking about a pail, and the crab is like this little, so you get it, right? A pail to a crab. Okay, throw it in there, and we'd go out and find another one and come back, and the crabs would be gone. That one crab gone. I'm like, what is going on here? Somebody's jacking around with me. So we go back, put the crab back in there, run off, do what we're doing, come back, you know the deal, crab's gone. I'm like, what is happening here? Old man that lived on the beach, how do I know that? Because his skin was all kinds of leathery, okay? It was like, this dude has spent too much time under the sun. Vitamin D, lack of, was not a problem for him. Loved life on the beach, and so I knew he was gonna drop some kind of wisdom for me. And he comes and says, all right, bro, I've been watching you and your son for some time here, chasing crabs on the beach. You're not from Florida, are you? That was his. I was like, no. He's like, I can tell, because no one from Florida chases crabs. They're a bit of annoying. I was like, what? These things are amazing. It's kind of like me with snow in Minnesota. It's like white stuff falling from the sky. Woo! As long as it's not dandruff, it's awesome. So the guy's talking to me, and he's like, okay, here's the deal. This is how you get a bucket of crabs, is you go get 2 at a time and put them in there. And I was like, what's gonna change? And he's like, crabs have a mentality of, if one is to try to escape, they pull them back down. It's a bit of misery loves company. They don't want one to escape, because if one escapes, they all got to do all the work now. And so they pull the one crab down constantly. And it worked. We got a bucket full of crabs. And what happens in relationships in life, when we are constantly doing life with people that don't have high goals, or they are more negative than you, they tend to pull you down instead of say, let's help you get down there. They're the negative Nancy's. I don't know if that's a term. I might have made that one up, but they're not lifting you up, saying, how can I partner with you to get after your dreams? I hope that that's myself for so many of you, that I come along and we'll share wisdom, we'll share advice, but it's in a way for you to accomplish your dreams and your aspirations. And I want to do life with people that are going to do that in me. And it's really hard to do life when somebody's constantly pulling you back down in the bucket. It's like, no. Jesus has called us to do great things. Let's go after it. I remember growing up in middle school and teachers telling me I wasn't going to be much because I had a learning disability and stuff. And they were just crabs pulling me back down in the bucket. And I just remember Jesus saying, I got a plan for you. And it's better and bigger than you can ever imagine, Scott. Just go after it. And I remember surrounding myself with my youth pastor and my small group leader, and they believed in me, and I'm doing what I am today on the shoulders of so many men and women of God that behind me have said, Scott, go after what God's called you to do. Let me help you go after it. Let me partner with you. And that's the same for all of us, is that we should be finding someone that's going to partner with us to point us in the direction of what Jesus is calling us to do. That's my hopes today. I hope that inspires so many of you to look at your friends and go, okay, my guardrail is I'm going to spend more time with the positive people that pour into me and uplift me, but never leaving behind those that are negative, because you got to bring them with you. You've got to bring those people that rub you the wrong way. This isn't they rub me the wrong way, I'm not going to do life with them, because what does love require you to do? Love requires us to turn around and bring them with us, to teach them how to do it, to show them how to go, to not just say, it's all about me and my dreams. Woo, it's a roller coaster ride. If you're not on, ha, you got left behind. That's not what love requires you to do. Love requires us to grab those and bring them with us. And so there is a tension to be managed when it comes to relationships, because you might be a follower of Jesus. You want to be around more people that are positive than negative, but you cannot leave or alienate those that are behind you. You just need to spend more time with the positive and encouragers than the negative. A couple other areas that we need to have guardrails in is raising kids. What kind of child do you want to raise? Maybe you have one child. Maybe you have one child in the oven. Maybe you're thinking about one day you're going to have kids. Maybe you have 8. Maybe you have more than 8. I'd like to meet you. Maybe you have 2, or you're just like, okay, what's your guardrails? What is your goals with them if it's just that they're still alive when they're 18? Way wrong. That's not, that's just expected, okay? That's like expected from like just the simplest levels, even in like lawmakers, okay? They're not even about making sure your kid does something great. They're just about keep your child alive. That's it. Think about it. You coming out of hospital, all they're really worried about is you keeping your child alive. They send you to classes about keeping your child alive. That's it. It's not about making sure they unlock their full God-given greatness. Nothing. It's keeping a child alive. That's not your ultimate goal. What is your goal with your child? And then set up the guardrails. They're going to make sure you're on track to the destination you want to go. That will influence your decision-making with kids. If you don't have guardrails with your kids, you're going to let them do everything they want and hang around with everybody they think they want to. Have guardrails for them. You and your husband, you and your ex-husband or ex-wife, or you need to have a conversation. And I know some of you are like, wait, my ex, you want me to talk? Yeah, because if you have a different set of guardrails than they do, it's just a hot mess. Being at the same team, even though separated, it was the best for your child. Pausing for a second and just get over yourself for a second and have a conversation with your ex on behalf of your children. It matters for the next generation, okay? I'm not trying to offend anyone in that scenario, but if you come to me and say, but you don't understand my ex is this way, I'm gonna look at you and say, but your children are going to depend on you to raise them right and raise them how Jesus has asked you to raise them. Don't give me reasons why you can't. I could give you reasons why I can't. I got 8 children. Do you know how hard that is? There's 8 of them. I'm overwhelmed all the time. If they ever teamed up together, they could overwhelm us like a small army of ants. It's just, those are the things that I'm afraid of. You don't have to worry about those things, right? I'm just messing with you. Okay, I hope you're getting the humor in some of this today. I hope you're starting to look at what are the guardrails in those areas in dating life, marriage, money, friendships, and raising kids. Guardrails are a personal standard of behavior that becomes a matter of conscience that serves as a warning sign for all of us. Guardrails are to be installed before the danger zone. Guardrails are designed to minimize damage, to minimize the drama in your life. Man, if your life is filled with drama, that means you haven't set up guardrails and you've entered the danger zone. Stop doing that. Back up going, I'm not going to get into this drama. These are going to be the triggers to me that's going to let me know that. This time of year in Minnesota, the lakes are starting to freeze. I was on a 7-mile run last night, and I'm coming by the inlets into the lake in my backyard, and they're already freezing. And what happens this time of year is they come out and they start beginning to put signs on the lake that says, it's a warning sign of fragile ice. It's just allowing you to know that, hey, you go past this point, it's really fragile as the ice forms out into the deep part of the lake. It's a warning sign. These guardrails are warning signs. Now, here's the interesting thing about culture in this, because we're talking about a state of conscience, and our culture will teach us to go the opposite direction. This is why it's important as parents to teach our kids what are their guardrails in their lives when it comes to friends and their dating and all of these same things that we're talking about here. It's up to us to teach them about guardrails, even with money. If they're 2 years old or 5 years old, 10 years old, teaching them how to be wise and be generous. It starts now with their toys and all of those things. Is what guardrails do you want to teach them to keep them from the danger zone, from keeping themselves from going into the life of doing wrong and hurting other people. Culture is content with painted lines, maybe like even gray lines, like blurring the lines. Like some of you might go, it's okay, Scott, you're an adult. You can go have a coffee with somebody of the opposite sex. I know I can. But that's starting to mess around the gray lines of where, man, I could do something. I am a human. I am capable of doing the wrong thing in those moments. And I would hate to position myself, if I'm weak, to do something that would screw up my marriage, that would hurt my marriage, that would hurt Holly, would hurt my kids. And so I want to constantly stay away from gray lines, the blurry lines. I want to put up guardrails that are going to make sure I'm aware that I'm not going to cross it. And it's before the issue at hand. Is before the problem is. It's before that. Now, there used to be, this is where I got it. They used to call it the Billy Graham rule. our vice president right now, he got a lot of flack last time that he was up for election as the vice president because he adheres to the Billy Graham rule. I remember reading in a magazine that they just wound him up about it, that, hey, you're not going to do lunch with this, a woman. That really hurts the woman being able to progress. And they just wound him up about it really hurts women in this capacity. It's not about hurting women in possibilities. It's then on me to be creative on how do I sit down with somebody of the opposite sex and be able to hear them in position as a counselor, counsel them, or a pastor, I should say, how to give them wisdom. How do I do that? You know what? Holly's in all those conversations. I can think of a conversation that I've had with a female with Holly involved. When I text a female, it's with Holly in it. Is she my babysitter? No. Do I have to do that? No. Did Holly tell me I have to do that or she's going to leave me? No. None of those. She's never said those. These are things I implemented because I read from Billy Graham what he did, and I just look at the life Billy Graham lived, and I'm like, boy, that's something to aspire to. I looked at Billy Graham's marriage, and I was like, dude, the guy was married for ever. I want the result in my life, so I'm going to implement those things in my life. And then there's never a moment of fear that creeps into our marriage. There's no worry that creeps into our marriage because it's like we know the guardrails that are in place. You should read, if you want to read about Billy Graham's rule. It's pretty cool. And then if you want to, I'll let you look it up. Harvard Business Review about men refusing to be alone with female colleagues. It's so interesting. If you want to know how they wrapped up the whole point, this is how, after they discussed this with a bunch of people, men, it's holding back women and stuff. This was this was how they summed it up, how men should behave. Closing statement. This shows you where culture is. So what's an evolved male leader to do? So if a male leader would be an evolved leader, meaning, okay, I'm going to do life with women, I'm going to go out just by myself all the time. It's, in the simplest terms, become what we call thoughtful cavemen. That's the end of their conversation. The Harvard Business Magazine was that they're telling men to become thoughtful cavemen. Does that sound like anything that I just talked about today? That we can run around like barbarians, but thoughtful. Think about it first. That that's not what love requires us to do. In all aspects, love requires us to do, in every given scenario, the right thing. And so when you're faced with the decision of a female going to, here's the deal, wrestle it out, just think about it. Don't be a mature, thoughtful caveman. That is not it, but that's what culture is trying to say. Seriously though, I could go on to that. Here, Ecclesiastes 5:15. So you're like, okay, you're gonna get to anything that the owner's manual of the Bible says. Yeah, these are all things. Everything I've talked about, you can find illustrations and examples of Jesus talking on it. Here's in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 15. Be careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise. Be careful. Be mindful, pay attention to, reflect on, look at your life, how you live, not as unwise, but as wise. Ecclesiastes was wrote by, I'm saying Ecclesiastes, it's Ephesians, I'm sorry, it's up on the screen, somebody's going, what's your, Paul wrote Ephesians, he's trying to give wisdom to early church, and he's saying, be careful, so be mindful, then how you live. To live means to walk. When he writes this, the original word wrote in here is the way you walk, how you do life. Be careful then how you do life. Don't just do it on a whim. Think about it, pay attention to it. Those are the questions. Watch where you walk. Best illustration, I got this, okay? So Paul's saying, watch where you walk. If you've ever been to my house, it's a tiny yard. We have a big dog named Vader. I don't know if you know about dogs, but dogs have to go to the bathroom. And a big dog means big waste, big, in Joey and Lily's code word last week, poop, okay? If you missed that, anyways, go back and watch the race last week. Let Vader out every morning, and if we don't get to it, it's just left there. It's a big bomb. And with 8 children, it's inevitable in a given day that they will run right through it. And that's because they weren't paying attention where they walked. If you've ever been a first-time guest to my house, or you've been somebody come to my house, I'm sure, I know it, because I cleaned some of my friends' kids' shoes off a couple weeks ago because they ran through dog poop. Sorry about that. I missed it, or my kids didn't get out and do their chores. We'll talk about that, kids, when we're done here. I know you're watching. Okay, just joking. They're all afraid now. I was just seeing if you're paying attention, kids. Okay, but that's what Paul's right. Be careful where you walk. Be careful where you walk in life. Be careful how you do life. Set up guardrails. In light, here's a great question for you. In light of my past experience, present circumstance, and future hope and dreams, what are the wise things for me to do? Not for them to do. We got it on the screen. It's one of the questions we say so many times. In light of my past experiences, present circumstances, and future hopes and dreams, what is the wise thing to do? What is it? What is the wise thing for you to do? Your dreams are different, your past is different, your present's different than mine. It's gonna be way different than what mine is. And so this is for you to answer. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15, verse 16. Make the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Okay, you're like, oh, evil. Oh, okay, a lot of you are gonna go, yeah, today the world is evil. Here's the deal. The world has always been evil. In whatever generation you live in, this is the worst generation ever. It's just the trend that's human nature to look at. We've had it worse. This is worse. It may be so, but I just know that a world without Jesus at the center of it is going to do stupid and evil things. It's just because there's no guardrails. They're okay in the gray zone. They're okay with doing whatever pleases them. They're going to do things that aren't living up to what Jesus... So I don't get offended by what the world does. I don't look at it and go, this is the worst ever. It's just what a fallen world does. Does it break my heart? Yes. Does it motivate me to continue to spread the gospel as fast as we can in the best way we can? Absolutely. I lay awake at bed thinking about ways to spread the gospel, to reach people that are they don't have hope. They're afraid. They've lost their mind. I want to give Jesus to them because he's the hope of the world. So I'm going to make the most of every opportunity, every relationship. Here's the deal. When you read that, because the days are evil, it should be the motivation. Now, here's what Paul's writing as we wrap this up. And last week the kids told me, Scott, you said, or they said, Dad, you said we're going to wrap up 3 times. It could happen again. But here's, as we wrap up, here's where we're headed with this. The days are evil, so what are we supposed to do? Make every opportunity. I would like to know how many of you, now be honest, how many of you have ever had to take a defensive driving class, okay? Just write it in there. My wife, I'm gonna rat her out a little bit. When we first got married, she had no license. And you're like, what? What? The pastor's wife had no license? What did she ever do? I don't know. She'll type it in the chat. I can't remember exactly what she did. Maybe too many speeding tickets or something like that. And to get her license back, she had to take a defensive driving class. And what do they teach you to do in there? They teach you to drive defensively. But here's what I'm trying to point out. You're like, why are you asking me to put in there about my defensive driving class? Because it teaches you in that class to pay attention to other drivers. That's what they're teaching you. When I took my motorcycle class so I could ride my motorcycle, they didn't really teach me anything about riding my motorcycle better, maybe a few things. They really told me when I'm making a left-hand turn, pay attention to this traffic. If you have a car in this lane, how do you check that other lane? They were teaching me how to pay attention to the other drivers. Today, we're asking you to pay attention to what culture's doing, pay attention to what other drivers are doing in life, and put your guardrails up to avoid, here it is again, type it in the chat for me, the danger zone. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15, 19 is Paul's illustration. This is his illustration to this, okay? He says, don't get drunk on wine, which leads to this. You know that, right? It leads to problems financially. It leads to sexual sins. It leads to anger problems. It leads to indulging yourself in a lot of things and losing control. Paul says this, he's saying, don't get drunk with wine. Now, in our culture, we read that going, okay, why? Because in those days, they didn't really drink water. They really drank wine because wine was safer than water because they knew that, hey, if you drank water, it could get you sick. They just knew water gets you sick. Wine, you didn't get sick. You didn't puke your brains out, so they tend to drink more wine. But here's Paul going, okay, but you all know to drink too much wine leads to problems. Anything we get too much of, too much dessert, gives you love handles, right? We all know these things. It's too much of something is usually a bad thing. And so what we're trying to do here is, and Paul is trying to say, hey, before you get too much of, set up the guardrails. Some of you are going, okay, you're just beating it. I need to beat this into all of us, myself included. So you will look at your life and make guardrails. I hope you wrote down the areas that we addressed earlier: dating life, marriage life, money, friendship, raising kids. What are your guardrails? Now here's the trick. Share it with somebody. Don't keep them to yourself. Because if you keep it to yourself, then it's really hard to actually hold yourself to it. When somebody else knows my guardrails, they're going to be able to go, hey, I thought that was a guardrail. Scott, I keep seeing you out to coffee with this lady. What's going on? They're going to call me on my guardrail because they're like, hold on, that doesn't make sense, Scott. That I keep seeing you like in a corner hidden. They're going to call, they're not going to go, I think you're cheating. They're just going, hey, what's going on? They're going to ask questions, and rightfully so they should do. But see, Paul goes on and says, hey, don't drink too much. Well, he doesn't stop there. He goes, instead, be filled with the Spirit. Do Jesus things. Fill yourself with the right things that Jesus is asking us to do. Guardrails, direct and protect. Where do you need to start? Where are you too close to the danger zone? Those are the two questions I leave you with. Where do you need to start? And where are you too close to the danger zone? This is for each one of us, no matter your age. Young people, oh my gosh, your life would be, you'd be able to look back in 10 years and look at your life and go, I'm so glad I made guardrails in my life because it prevented me from having a past that I'm embarrassed of, that I don't want to share with people. Guardrails, as long as it's to keep ourselves going after Jesus' principles in our lives, they will protect and direct. Let me pray for you guys. Jesus, I pray for every last person that's logged on today. I just ask that you would just do something profound in their life, that you would change their lives forever because of the guardrails you're going to drop in their hearts today to bring into their finances, into their marriage, into their dating life, into their dream. God, that you're just going to change our lives because of the guardrails. May this be a principle that we adhere to forever. And may we be okay with other people having different guardrails. May we learn from each other. God, I just ask that you would begin to teach every one of us how to do this. How does it look like? What's it look like? And hearing great stories, may we hear great stories over the next few weeks of this. Jesus, we pray for the family members that are in our community right now that, man, they found out news this week about cancer. We ask that you would just step into that mess and give peace. For the families that this week or just last week had surgery, that the healing process would still be happening, that you would just be filling those homes with your presence, and everybody else that's got things that I'm unaware of, that you would give them peace right now. That they would be able to say, today was the day Jesus showed up and gave me peace. Jesus, we love you in your name. Amen. Thank you to everybody that's hanging with us still. Everybody that typed in there in the chat room, Danger Zone, thank you for playing along and keeping it going in there. I hope today this is one of those moments that really has changed your perspective and the way you're doing life. Next week, we're going to talk about decision making, guardrails, and making decisions. Boy, if you're a young person or you are a fresh out of college or you're single, this is going to be so good for you. If you're a parent, you don't want to miss this one. It's going to be really good. We're going to give you another series of questions to ask yourself to direct your future. That said, we do have some upcoming events as we got Joey and Kristen coming back. We got a lot of things happening, so I know that a lot of times some people might log off. Don't log off. We don't want you to miss these upcoming events here, okay? First is, you saw it earlier, Don't Do Life Alone. We got small groups happening on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights for adults. You can go to unlockchurch.com for those times and locations and click the links because they're all aligned. So if you're around the world, every week we got people jumping in, which is really cool. So jump in with us like this. It's more fun to have Lily here and Kristen and Joey over there. So find those. What do we got happening today for students, Joey?
We have a bonfire today for everybody that is local here around Maple Grove area. And you'll want to text the church number to find out the location if you have not done that yet. But I'm super excited. It's from 4 to 6. It's going to be a good time. See everybody, play some games, cook some marshmallows, talk, hang out.
And it's nice and cold, so it'll be perfect.
Very festive here in Minnesota. It'll be a good time, so don't miss that. You did say text the church for location, correct?
Yep, RSVP and location.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Yep, and then one more thing. If you want to bring your own chair, you totally can. There are
Hold on.
some
Let's get you up on screen, Joey, because they're just looking at us. There we go,
Oh.
Joey.
Oh, there we go.
If you heard me. If you want to bring your own chair, you totally can. There are some areas that you can sit on a piece of
Logs.
a log. But
Wood.
if you want a chair, please bring your own chair.
Yep.
Okay, and do we have pictures loaded up from people today that we're ending today with some people all
get to
across
see
the
their
world.
shining
Some of you are
faces.
like, you forgot. We didn't.
We didn't.
All right, let's throw some pictures up, see how people are. There's the bacon.
Cooking the bacon in the
Love
cast
it.
iron. And what is that, pancake?
I don't.
wonder?
That
To
looks
the
like.
left?
Yeah, but it looks more yellowy. Look at Dan and Jen. We're always
You
looking
guys
at your
look
stuff.
great. I love it.
Oh,
What is that?
Teacher,
What's
does
on the
that
other?
say Teacher Jennifer?
Yeah, she is a teacher.
Oh, she's
your
a
own
homeschool
shirt.
teacher.
Love it.
Homeschool mom.
Well done. Okay, but seriously, it's like an orangey looking pancake back
Yeah, I
there.
wonder
So
what
I
that
wonder
was.
if it's like a protein pancake.
Or maybe it's like for like Halloween.
All right, who is
Zach.
this? I can't see.
Zach.
Technology. Is it
In
Zach?
California.
Hold on, just-
California.
Oh, Zach.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a
That
nice
looks
beard coming in.
amazing.
Zach said in the chat he's missing Minnesota in the snow, and
But
we are
you're
missing.
out there riding. I love it.
Wish I was in
Love it,
California.
Zach.
I don't, man. Bring on the snow. All right.
Joey has said he's wished he was at a lot of places.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy, man.
There's so many
here are the
people.
Oh, look at the crew.
McClendons.
Hi,
Look at that. What are
guys.
they eating?
Waffles.
Waffles. Did you know
Yeah.
this?
Belgian waffles is like delicious.
Hold on. Did you know waffles are? There's honestly, waffles are just pancakes with syrup traps.
Syrup traps, yeah.
Yeah,
I
which
like
is
that.
so much
Right.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. They have
I
it at
love.
home.
When do
my
you like it?
favorite are
Yeah.
like the super thin Waffle House waffles. I
Waffle
don't like
Not
the
Eggos?
Like,
I
like
mean,
Eggos.
those
Legos?
are
Lego my Eggo.
those
It's
are cool
Eggos.
too, but they
It's
just
Eggos.
make them in at Waffle
Okay.
House like crispy outside and like nice and soft inside. So good.
I don't know.
So-
I'm all about those buttery pancakes. Take me over to Original
no.
Pancake House.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
day.
All right, we got somebody else
Come on.
hanging
Rachel and
here.
her parents.
Oh, yeah, painting and drilling.
Nice.
I love it. Looking good, guys.
Getting into
Looks
it.
so good.
Love it.
Wow.
That's
Congratulations on the new home, Rachel.
So good.
So good. We got
Our
got
kiddos
Epic.
watching.
No, we got
We got
Inspire,
Spy, Icon.
and Ellen.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
It's so hard to see all of those. I'm trying to make it. I'm doing this. I'm like, what? We got so much technology around here we can't see it. Okay. Do we have a couple more pictures? That's it. Thank you for all those sending in. So good to see all of you guys.
So good.
So good. So good. Such a good day.
So good.
So good.
So good.
And hop into
So
small
good.
groups. If you're an
Yes.
adult or if you're a kid or middle schooler, high schooler, they have kids small groups Fridays at 4 p.m. and then youth, middle school and high school is Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and we're doing a series about relationships and getting down to the basics.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
Basics.
Okay, and we also
Basic.
there's the. I was like, why are all of a sudden legs are on the screen? But I get it. I didn't see the words. I was like, whoa, legs.
Oh my gosh.
For the rest of you, we forgot to say that there is a kids service
There
happening.
is. So if you're still listening, there is a kid service. If you had your kids watch this morning, that's amazing, but they can watch all week long. There's a really big challenge in there and some announcements that they have to watch to hear. So get them watching. It's on this channel. All week long they can watch.
You're gonna love it. Look for it. That's it. I think this one is over.